Hi, just a bit who cares, and here's my review of the HBO show The Last of Us. And yeah, this is based on the hit video game, the first game of The Last of Us. And God, before I go into this, I'm gonna admit I might be a tiny bit biased because I'm a huge fan of this franchise, and it's that big for me that it's in my top 5 all-time favorite video games. That's how good this game is. And I remember I first played it 10 years ago. God, I feel old. Because I remember yesterday I got this game on a PS3. And basically I took left college basically, and I'll admit there's some downsides on that bit, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to explain that bit now because I'm not feeling comfortable to explain that because I don't down the mood as this is a review. But one of the things that lighted me up during that dark times was the release of the first Last of Us. And I remember buying from day one in June, and I loved it. Even though there was a bug on day one where the save didn't save properly, so you lost your save file. He didn't install the new pass basically, and basically I played 2 hours and I lost 2 hours, so I go replay the 2 hours. You know what I mean? But except from that, the game was a masterpiece, and I remember saying, I think I'm not the only one who said this. I hear loads of people said this, that this feels like a HBO show. And look at now, almost 10 years later. I know it's 10 years now, but technically it came out in June, so it's not there yet. But basically, we're modern day now, and we got a show made by HBO who done this story with madness, you know what I mean? How crazy the world can be, you know what I mean? So, what I thought of the show? I thought the show was amazing. Now, there is fault, but I'm not going to be the YouTubers who go nitpick or pick at stuff that is stupid enough, which I will explain there later on. So, one thing they nailed so well is the tone. I think the tone is so fucking good in the show, and that's what makes the game special. The tone, the story, the characters. Like, first enough, it made changes to the show, which I respect to, because I know people will say, oh, this was a excuse about, oh, you're going to make changes because it won't be for Pfizer's. But at the same time, you do. Now, the path is still the same. Like the beginning of the story, the middle, and the end is still the same. But the pathway is a bit different. And people will say, so why are you not against that? I can name one example. Persona 5. Now, I love that game. Amazing game. Now, it brought the army out. And the problem with the army is, again, the animation is so good in that, is the story. And people say, well, I thought you liked the story. Yeah, I do like the story of Persona 5. But the problem is, in the anime, it's very scene to scene to scene from the game. And basically, if you play the video game, it's like, there's no me watching this. Why did I play the game? And I know you're going to say, yeah, but people don't want to play a game. They don't want to watch the story. Yeah, I get that. There is people that don't want to watch the story. I get that. But the problem is, being realistic, if you doing a video game show, 90% of people who go and watch it are going to be people who play the fucking games, no matter what. I say 90% to 80%. You know what I mean? And there's like a handful of people, audiences that haven't even played the game or heard of the game. You know what I mean? So there's no one audience is going to be the people who play the game. And the problem is, if you're doing scene to scene to scene, you be thinking, oh, why did I play The Last of Us Part 1, you know what I mean? Or The Last of Us, a version of, The Last of Us, you know what I mean? The first game, because there's 3 fucking versions, you know what I mean? There's 2 versions. Yeah, there's PS3 version, PS5, and of course, the Wii Master PS5 version, you know what I mean? So technically, that would be the thing. And the good thing it done this year is it kept the path the same, but the differences. Like, for example, Sarah in the open scene, in the open episode, basically, and basically, it's Joel's daughter. And what it does so fucking well with Joel's daughter in this is, you get to know her a bit more. The extra 10 minutes it added on, because in the video game, it's open 10 minutes and he dies. I know, spoilers, but again, I think most people should know what happened. That's why I read this video a week later than the premiere, you know what I mean? Or a couple of days later, you know what I mean? But what I was saying, Joel's daughter died, Sarah. And in the video game, that's basically the open 10 minutes basically. You play as his daughter, walking around the house. Then outbreak came, and then you drive down, and then you take the soul of Joel, and you carry her, and then you both get shot. Now, that path is still the same here, but what it done different is so fucking well, is you add the extra 10 minutes, so it's basically the first 20 minutes you add the scene, and what it do different in before Sarah get killed or, you know, the outbreak started, you see Sarah, what the type of person she is, what she's like around other people, and basically you get to know her a bit more. Again, it's not much, but then she does die, it hits you a bit more. So I give credit on that bit. I think it done an amazing job with stuff like that. I think stuff like that is amazing, and I think though after 10 minutes, actually made that scene more, like I said, heartbreaking and harder to watch. Basically, it's sad. And then, as you know, like I said, all the outbreak stuff happens and basically get killed. Move on 20 years later. Now, another bit I love is, like I said, it added more stuff like information. Like, for example, yeah, it explained more. Like, there's a scene with no country basically who just found this outbreak, and basically it explains saying that we need to bomb the city, to how bad this outbreak's going to be, and it shows you them, slowly, again, each different scenes. Like I said with Sale before, while you find out, you get more cards out on Sailor, in the background you see all the signs of there's something going wrong, you know what I mean? I love that. I think that is so well done here. And even the background too, like there's a poster explaining, saying that you can get bit on the leg, or shoulder, or neck. There's different times how quick the outbreak comes, you know what I mean? And there's another scene, again, just during the same episode too, the scene where this is like years after, the tragedy, Joel losing his daughter. Him just throwing a kid in a fire, basically. That scene is so fucking powerful. I know some people, I haven't found out many people talk about that scene, as it shows you that this man is damaged. This man is so fucked up what happened to him, and because he got nothing to live for now. And basically, because he got nothing to live for, there's stuff in there that I don't give away, that especially you found out in the last episode, that there's some fucked up stuff, realistic stuff too, that I think people, especially parents too, who lose their kid, know what I mean, would feel. And doing all that crap, he does some unforgivable things. And he had to admit this too, he does some unforgivable things that is so fucked up, know what I mean? And then, of course, we got Ellie. Now, before people go on attack and saying that, oh, Paul's just being so... No, I think the actress who played Ellie done an amazing job. I think she nailed the part perfect. I think she is talented, and I love her from Game of Thrones. I thought she was so good in Game of Thrones. And then I heard she would play Ellie. I was made up. And these arseholes on YouTube, or TikTok, basically, basically calling her, oh, she's ugly, she's too ugly to play Elliot or that. Like, really? You're going by fucking looks now? Again, this is a fucking, again, in the video game, she's a fucking kid, you know what I mean? And you're going like, oh no, she's not good looking, you know what I mean? It's like, you sound like, you know, I don't want to say the word, because I might get monetized, but, you know, predators, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, but you do. You know, shut the fuck up and grow up, you know what I mean? She's done an amazing job here. She's now ever perfect humour, you know, where she pretends, you know, she was sick of it, you know what I mean? There's stuff like that. I think you love her in this. I thought she played the part perfectly well here. Including in the episode of his flashback, basically, where you see his backstory with Reggie. If you play the video game, the DLC, basically, you know, while Joe is wounded and basically sick, where Ellie defends herself, looking for food, looking for medicine, stuff like that, to help Joe, to get these flashbacks of what happened to her, basically, and you play that on Verity. That's the whole episode. Yes, I gotta admit, it's one of, I'm not saying it's, this is the problem with it. The episode itself is a masterpiece on storytelling. Now, because I'm played, the problem is, what I said before about the throne incident, it haven't changed much. It doesn't seem to seem, again, I'm not saying they're not one of the story. Story is amazing. Amazing story, amazing storytelling. I can see people who haven't played the game loving this, and I agree, the story is amazing. But the reason why I wasn't mad on it, because I was mind blown, you know, 10 years ago, you know what I mean? Now I played this DLC, you know what I mean? And the only bit I actually like it put in this, you actually see glimpses of the school, basically, this army-based school, basically, where they train young kids. I love it, add that bit onto it, because I want to see more. The problem with The Last of Us is, basically, yeah, we got the comic books, basically, but the thing is, I want to see more of that stuff like that in the video games, or now we're getting a show now. Well, we got a show now. I actually saw a bit of that in the show where you see how the school won, you know what I mean? Of 20. I know people will say, oh, fucked up, but again, it's one of those things, isn't it? With our explain later on about mankind changing with this outbreak. And I feel like I add that bit onto it. And then we got the biggest controversy episode, which is episode 3, which is the Bill episode. And people will say, what you thought of it? You're a big fan of Last of Us, what you thought of it? On story-wise and all that stuff, masterpiece. I know people might call me woke. Stop. Like I always said, yes, in media, I agree there's some part of media that is a tech list. They're just doing it for, you know, a fan base. They don't care about the story. They don't care about making extra money. We're at a tech list base we need for diversion, blah, blah, blah. You know, woke, not woke, no, I mean gay, LGBTQ, you know, trans, no, I mean, stuff like that. Instead of focus on the story, you know, it's just put all these in first, you know what I mean, before thinking what the story is. And again, I do agree, in some part of me, there is that. But, this is not one of them. I think this is one of the best examples how you do an LGBTQ story. Especially with, you know, a gay love story. And it's beautiful. From the beginning to the end, you care about these people, you care about these two couple. It's so fucking sad what happened to the end, though. I mean, it's heartbreaking. And now, personally, yeah, it's a big difference for the video game. It is a huge difference on the story. But again, like I said before, this is one of the best examples it should do. I still kept the same path too. I don't understand why people are outcrying about this. And I hear people, like YouTubers, TikTok people, or even Twitter saying that, oh, I don't gaze, I don't all this romance crap in this a zombie apocalypse. So you don't get what make the Last of Us special. What make the Last of Us so special is not about the zombies, not about it's not about the outbreak. You know what I mean? It's about how mankind changes. I mean, go back to episode 1, right? That time jump from 20 years. And you see how the military become like dictators virtually. I mean, for fuck's sake, them people break rules, they fucking hang them in public, where people can see. So we're going backwards. Instead of going forwards, we go backwards. And it shows you what mankind can do. Then we got something like an outbreak coming. For fuck's sake. Again, this might sound over the top, you know what I mean, to the point. What would we have been through with, COVID? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not extreme as what, the Last of Us is. It's not. I'm not comparing those two, you know what I mean? But all I'm saying is, what the UK government, for example, and again, American viewers might not know much about this, what the UK government, for example, the corruption happened behind the scenes. Like, for example, you got loved ones dying. It can't say goodbye to your loved ones face to face because, the outbreak. Meanwhile, the top MPs can have a Christmas party in the same room. You know what I mean? Again, it shows you how much they fucking care, you know what I mean? And even some of the rules got leaked out about what he was thinking about to do. We're looking at it never happened. Like, for example, pet cats are willing to kill every single person's pet cat in the house to stop spreading the disease. That's how mental it was, you know what I mean? And that story that came out this month, basically, about the cats, you know what I mean? That's how mad this world is. And what The Last of Us really is, it's about mankind, basically, how mankind changes in certain situations. And you see this in the games too, and the show does it too. And these people are complaining, oh, I want a zombie show. Well, go watch Dawn of the Dead if you want a zombie show. End of the day, this is a beautiful story about mankind, basically. And I think people need to think about that. Now, sorry about that. A bit of the lamp because I hear so many people attacking this episode. And I don't understand why. Why I said it's a beautiful masterpiece episode. Another thing I like is basically the scenery. Like, what the scenery too. Especially if you played the games too. It nailed every single scene so perfectly. I mean, what was the town, the main town where A found Tommy, you know what I mean? In the first game. And you see more in the second game too. That town, it nailed that so perfect. Stuff like that is so amazing. The sets are so good. And then you got the quickers. Now, yeah, I gotta admit, this could be one of my faults. I know I just said about this, not about zombies or that. There's very few quickers in the season. Yeah, I know it came out and said that season 2, which it did got reviewed after one episode came out, which is amazing. That season 2 will have more quickers, which I hope so. Because, yeah, I know I said before, it's about mankind, how it changes. Like, some become cannibals, some become nut jobs, you know what I mean? Some become power hungry. Yeah, that should still to be focused no matter what. But we still need a couple more quickers. Yeah, I give credit. There's a couple episodes got see loads at once in that one scene. Later on the series, a lot at once. Really hundreds. But after that, you hardly see any, you know what I mean? And I wish they put a bit more in. Again, they've done a fantastic job on that too. And God, it's just everything about it. And why I said before about the intimation too. Like, this new information it had to put into, it's about, again, I'm not sure it's going to be canon the games, but at the same time, I can see it being canon now, because technically, this wrote by the same guy who wrote the story of the games. So technically, you know what I mean, it probably is canon now, with about Ellie's mum. Now, it explains how Ellie could be, immune to this outbreak, basically. So what happened is, Ellie's mum's getting chased by, a clicker, or, a zombie thing, you know what I mean? And basically, before she gave birth, she got bitten. And while she gave birth, there's two still in the baby, so she started to shoot quickly after killing the clicker. So basically, it hinted that could make Ellie immune, in a way. Again, I could be wrong, but that's what it could be hinted at, you know what I mean? I love it put that information in there, you know what I mean? And the Easter eggs too, of course, if you're a big hardcore Last of Us fan, you know the cast members from the real games in this too, original games in this too. Everything about it is so fucking good. Now, the negatives. Now, yeah, this might sound a bit nitpicky. I said one before about the episode with Ellie Fastback. Yeah, it does have the same poem, which I called the Fafona poem. I call it because it is scene to scene. But again, the reason why I say it's nitpicky, because technically it's still a fantastic story. Now, my other poem, except from that, is the last episode. I wish it made it longer. I wish it was like the first episode, basically like an hour 20 minutes, you know what I mean? Or an hour 40, you know what I mean? It needed that build up, you know what I mean? It did. It did need that build up, especially with one of the best thing about the Last of Us games, which I'm gonna say now, as what I said from the time of the length of the episode, everything else was good in this episode. Which is the question about Joel. Did Joel done the right thing? Now, what I love about this is people who haven't played the games or heard about the games, who don't watch the show, are now saying the same as what we said 10 years ago. Which is, did Joel done the right thing? And to me personally, there's no wrong answer. There's not. And people say, what do you mean there's no wrong answer? There's gotta be. No, there's not. Reason why, if he says no, you know, done the right thing, is, yeah, that's true, because technically he stopped, developing a cure, so basically the whole world can, go back to normal, basically, and, not worry about this outbreak. Again, he just stopped that. Think about it. He stopped mankind developing a cure, know what I mean? That's how fucked up this is. But, if you say he's right, which again, it is an correct answer, because, again, if you look at Joel's story from episode 1 to episode 9, he lost a daughter. And during the journey, he spent time with her. He took it as her own daughter, basically. Yeah, it was a rocky start at first, but again, the development is there. He bonded with her. He got something to fight for. Well, he actually says that he got something to fight for now. He cares for her, as, again, why he's right to Sarah. He cares for her. I don't lose her. So basically, he'll do everything he can, even though it costs, mankind the only hope left to go back to normal. Again, you gotta think through both minds. And that's what makes The Last of Us so fucking good. That, again, like I said before, it's not a zombie show. Yeah, technically it is, but it's about mankind. What are you gonna do, you know what I mean? That's what made this show so fucking special. And God, I'm made up this show got made. I'm made up more people got to see this amazing story. And again, like I said before, yeah, plenty of people saw the story with playing the video games, but at the same time, I I can see people not knowing of it because a lot of people don't like video games. They don't like watching it, you know what I mean? And I've done a good job here. So, let's go to my final thoughts. My final thoughts of The Last of Us is it's an amazing show, fantastic character development, fantastic decisions, and fantastic things that make you think about mankind and what will people do in a fucked up situation. And basically, it's amazing. So just for that, it's a 9 out of 10. It's a must see. Seriously, if you haven't seen the show, watch it. I had a blast with this. Even though I played the games, I still fucking love the show. And I think people need to watch the show. It is so good. So, my question today is, what are your thoughts on the show? Do you like it or do you hate it? And, that's my question. So, if you want to see more videos like this, please like the video. And if you want to see what I said, please subscribe to my channel. This has been a Boy Who Cares. See you on the next one.